Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the final installment of our limited series about the cuffs that Glenn shared with you and me. And this one is kind of the most complete out of all of them from a chronological standpoint, which you'll see what I mean. Basically, we're going to cover the evolution with just a few holes in it of the Peerless handcuff company. Okay? Now, we have lots of examples here, but it's not as confusing as it seems. There are minute differences between some of the models and other ones. There's big differences that you'll be able to spot, okay? Now we're going to start with these three first. These are all considered Model 1s. But of the Model 1s that we have here, and this is the earliest. You might call it the pre-1. Okay, don't rhyme that with anything dirty, but the reason that these are the earliest is because these are the only ones with this nice little curve to the lock case. All of these are swing through, by the way, of course. So these came out roughly 1912, and I'm just opening this because you can notice that, like the early H&R Supers and other early cuffs, there's no line here. There's no groove. The next Model 1 does have it. See that? The Model 1. This is the second version. I'm going to also compare the lock cases so you can see what I mean by curve. See the curve there? On the earlier version of the Model 1, this is like, it's not a prototype, but it's before they went into massive production. And that's when they had this curve. Then they squared off the lock case, and you'll see that the later versions also were squared. Another interesting thing about this is it has two right-hand cuffs. The keyways are facing up. They're both the right-handed cuff. The other models, the next Model 1, are right and left. Notice the long center link, okay? That continued through all of the Model 1s. That's pretty much the first dead giveaway for a Model 1, as well as the way that they do the double lock. Basically these, the key would go in, just like we showed you on the Peerless, just regular Peerless. It goes through, and you engage the double lock by giving an extra turn with the key inside. So the double lock is engaged and disengaged by use of the key in the Model 1s. And these three are all Model 1s. Okay, same thing. Keyhole, same thing with this. The later Model 1s also were marked trademark. Teeny tiny mark. Trademark. I'll turn it so that you can actually read it. This one also had the owner's name scratched in it. Trademark. Okay. And then came the Model 2. Now here's where the differences started kicking in. We have the two links connecting instead of the center long link. We also have the first one ever with a plunger double lock mechanism, where the pin on the end of the key, you push that in, it engages the double lock. It's not engaged by turning the key in the keyhole. Still has the groove. Okay, still has, the same type case, same basic mechanisms and everything. And this one, if you can see, it says trademark registered. Bingo, Model 2. Two main differences, it's Model 2. Three main differences, actually, is the Model 2. Okay, well, the keyholes are basically the same. Then we go to the Peerless Model 3. These were the first ones to take the common barrel key that we still use today in Smith & Wessons and Peerless. So this is the first one to use that with the post, with the plunger, and they move the pin, since it's a barrel key, to the top of the handle of the key. And that's these Model 3s, okay? They're also trademark registered. Right there. It's a little faint, but it's there. These are made in the teens, 20s, we're coming up through time, all right? So these are probably like 40s. 1930s, 1940s, whatever. Then we go to the Peerless Model 300. Now, this is very similar to the Model 3, but there's a difference. You can see sometimes the difference in the posts, the center post is pretty interesting. You know, sometimes you can tell, but also when you turn these over, hey, there's no trademark sign. So that's the Model 300. And there's another difference. See where the groove goes in? It's smooth on the lock case. See where the groove goes in? Oop, a little divot. Right there. Little tiny dent on both sides. That's how you tell the Model 300. Instead of going Model 301, 302, they jumped to 400. Okay, now obviously there's some other ones that might be interspersed in between, but these are like the meat and potatoes of the Peerless company. All right, now we see a big difference here with these guys, with the Model 400s. The lock case is getting a little bit more funky. It's also thicker. You can see like an outline. I mean, there's like a little shelf there instead of being completely smooth. There's all the information on the front of the cuff underneath the keyhole. And these also had a different kind of double lock mechanism, square. You're still pushing down a plunger, but this one is square compared to the more standard round. And take a good look at that square plunger. You won't see it again in Peerless. Okay. And also these cuffs had other problems from use in the field that led to their early demise, which makes them, of course, rarer and more expensive. Now we jump another 100 to the Model 500. And these ones are stamped up top. It's like on the crest, sort of like a sunset up there in the corner. They hit it up in the corner. There it is on there. Again, you know, made in USA, Peerless. Boom. Model 500s. And they went back to the round plunger. I guess that square plunger didn't work. Now we have a later version of the Peerless, same Model 500, but the difference between these and the reason that we know that these are different is twofold. The most obvious is that it's very hard to read the Model 500 because they etched it in with a laser. They also etched in the Peerless, patented, all the information. All the etching is done with the laser. And also look at the swivel. This is more angular compared to the old ones. I think these ones are more elegant. I don't really like the new swivels. It's just a personal taste, but to me it's like, you know, it looks a little, I don't know, it doesn't look like as much craftsmanship went into it as these, because it sinks down a little bit, it's beveled. And these are just boxy. It looks like they just stamped them out of something. And that is actually also on the 100th anniversary. Yeah, these are the 700s. These were a special purchase you can make on the 100th anniversary of them in 2014. It came in a nice box with the dates, which is also stamped on the cuffs itself and on the keys. There's paperwork in there. It just gives a brief explanation of the history of the Peerless companies. But these are what, if you're going to buy a pair of Peerless today, this is what you'll get. And you can tell the difference because they've got the bumps from where they secure the lock cases together. It's got the little symbol over there, Model 700. Like I said, these are the 100th anniversaries. That's etched in nice. But if you were to go and buy a brand new pair of Peerless handcuffs now, they would look just like this because those rivets pop out. No more smooth, or semi-smooth. They're really pronounced in here. Which again, a lot of non-American companies, Japan and China and so forth, they're copying even the rivet situation. Okay, so these are actually mine. All the other ones you saw so far belong to Glenn. And now we come to the final one. And this is the high security Peerless cuffs. And strangely enough, they're not as heavy as you'd think. That part's actually plastic. Okay, and these came with different type of locking mechanisms. This one happens to be the ASSA lock, ASSA. And it's a pin tumbler with added security. The other grooves go in every which way. But it works, just like a regular handcuff. You turn it one way to open, turn it one way to double lock. Still swings through. but the keys are way, come on, you can tell why it's called a high security. These also come in leg iron sizes, and all the cuffs pretty much came in leg iron sizes too, except for the early ones. They didn't. I haven't seen any. Have you seen any examples? I haven't seen any examples of the early ones in leg iron sizes, but that would be pretty cool if they did. Okay, let's shimmy back here. So we went through 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We covered 11 cuffs in this segment. Like I said, this is our final segment for the special series with Glenn's cuffs. And I'd like to thank him, of course, for being so generous with his time. I mean, we've been shooting a lot of videos, and he has a lot of cuffs that I don't have. It just goes to show, like, different collectors get together, we compare it, and we both learned a lot through shooting this video series. Even with cuffs that I had for years, he noticed a little discrepancy and gave me information, and I gave him information on some of his stuff, and we were able to compare our different examples of the same type of cuffs and notice if there was any little differences in weight or measurements or whatever. But it was a really great experience. And thank you guys all for watching. Keep tuned for more off the cuff videos coming up. And please leave your comments in the comment section. Contact us if you have any questions, or if you have cuffs that you want to feature or whatever on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. That's the most important thing. We need more subscribers. We got to up those subscribers. And this is a great show to watch when there's nothing else on TV. So, and if you watch this on your iPhone or your mobile phone, you can always watch it anywhere you are. So you can't always do that with television. Anyway, I'm rambling, but thanks again for watching. Thank you, Glenn. And don't forget to click and subscribe to his channel too to see more of his collection. All right, we'll see you next time.